Hey there, let's keep going with our Google Ads course. In the previous lesson we set up triggers, clicking on a phone number and visiting the thank you page. Today we're going to set up conversions. If you found this video through search and don't fully understand what's going on, this is a complete Google Ads course. It's available on the main page of the YouTube channel and organized as a playlist. Just open it and go step by step, lesson by lesson. In earlier lessons, we created Google Tag Manager and set up variables. If you missed that part, make sure to watch the previous lessons. And now we're moving on to working directly inside the Google Ads interface. To set up conversions, we need to go to Goals, Conversions Summary. But before we click the new conversion action button, we need to do one more thing first. Let's go to Settings. In the Enhanced Conversions section, we enable Turn on Enhanced Conversions. Without this, conversion tracking accuracy will be lower. We check the box in the window that opens, we click Agree. Then we need to choose a setup method. There are three options. You can use your existing Google Tag Manager, or the Google Ads API. The easiest option is to click which method should I use, enter your website URL and click Check URL. It tells us that Google Tag Manager is the recommended option. We click Continue with Google Tag Manager, then click Save. You should click Save, but I won't do it just yet, so I can show you later what happens if you don't. Now we go back to the Summary section and click New Conversion Action. At this point there are two possible interface versions you might see. If your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, don't worry. In a minute I'll show you what to do in your case. Here we need to choose a conversion action category. This category doesn't affect anything technically. It's only used to group conversions, which makes the account much easier to work with visually, instead of having everything mixed together. There are a lot of options here. You can click See All to view them. We'll start with clicking on a phone number. This is an outbound click, because clicking a phone number on a website doesn't mean a call actually happened. It just means the user clicked the number, their phone app opened, and we don't know whether they actually called you or not. You can track real calls using call tracking, but that costs money and adds complexity. It's not difficult, but you don't need it at the beginning. Don't waste time on it for now. If you need it later, you can always connect call tracking. I'm explaining all this so you understand why this is still considered an outbound click. I click on outbound click. Technically, you're supposed to click Add Conversion Actions here, but I'll click back instead. And now we see the interface version I mentioned earlier. This isn't a different interface, it's just a different order of steps. In my case, I connected a newly created ad account to my manager account, so there are some differences. But that's not important. My goal is to explain the logic, so future interface changes don't confuse you. Here Google automatically suggests setting up conversions from phone calls. We uncheck this box. We'll set it up separately. What we need is conversions on a website. We click Edit. Now we copy our website URL. By the way, we're setting up a conversion that will trigger when someone clicks this phone number. We paste the website URL here and click Scan. This is where many people get confused. If Google Analytics is connected, Google may suggest using either Analytics or a tag. We need the Google tag. We check this option. It says not installed yet. That's correct. We'll install it later. Click Done, then Save and Continue. Now I click Add Conversion Actions. Here we need to choose a tag. In my case it shows a tag named Course Google Ads, but in your case it might say something like Untitled Tag. That doesn't matter. Just pay attention to the icon. This is the Google Tag icon. Click it. Now we choose Setup manually using code. There is also an option called Enter the URL, where the conversion is completed. In some cases it can work, but it's a more basic beginner-style method. There are situations where it makes sense, but we're learning how to do things properly. So we choose Setup manually using code, so everything is managed through Google Tag Manager, all in one place. That's the most convenient way to manage everything. Now we click Conversion Settings to expand everything. And I'll start explaining. Scrolling down. Action Optimization. In this case, we don't change anything. This stays as a primary action. Later in the lesson, I'll show you how to change this and why it matters. Next is the conversion name. I'll name it click on phone number, so it's clear what this conversion is. Value. By default, it's set to use different values for each conversion. This option is for e-commerce, where Google Ads receives the actual purchase value. Someone might buy a cheap pen, or they might buy an expensive vacuum cleaner. That's called e-commerce tracking. For example, in Shopify, this is set up in just a few clicks through the API directly in the Shopify dashboard. Every e-commerce platform has its own instructions for setting this up, but we are setting up a phone number click, not a sale. So different values make no sense here. The option above is use the same value for each conversion. This means you manually assign a value, for example, 100, 1000 or $10. And later, when you switch to automated bidding strategies, Google will optimize based on that value. But in our case, when we're just collecting leads, we don't know the actual value of a lead yet. So this would be guessing. If you assign a random value now, it will only give Google bad data for optimization. Later, when you know your average revenue per lead, you can set a value, but not now. So we choose, don't use a value for this conversion action. Google says it's not recommended, and I agree, if we know the value. But if we don't know it and still enter one, that's even worse, because Google's algorithms will optimize based on a number pulled out of thin air. Next, select how many conversions to count per click or interaction, every or one. We choose one, every is for e-commerce. Here's why. If someone visits your site, triggers a conversion, and then clicks your phone number, we don't want to count two conversions. It's still one person. So we count one. In e-commerce, if someone buys a pen, that's one conversion, and then buys a vacuum cleaner, that's another conversion. That's why every exists. But here we choose one. By the way, we can collapse these sections. I'll collapse conversion name, value, count, and action optimization. See how compact everything becomes. Next is click-through conversion window. By default, it's set to 30 days. What does this mean? Imagine you're running ads in a niche where people take time to make decisions. They visit your site, don't convert immediately, think about it, and convert later. You run ads for a month, see no results, decide ads don't work, turn them off, and suddenly leads start coming in. You're like, what's going on? Ads didn't work, but now they do? The reason is that people came from ads earlier, and Google understands that decisions take time. For example, someone clicks your ad on the first day of the month. You paid for that click. You check performance for that day and see 0 conversions. But on the 28th day of the same month, that person finally converts. Google will attribute that conversion to the original ad click. If your window is 30 days and the conversion happens on day 31, it won't be counted. The maximum is 90 days, and we always set it to the maximum, so we choose 90 days. That's very important. I'll collapse this section. Engaged view conversion window. We don't need this. You can always hover over the question mark to read details, but we're not running video ads here, so we leave it as is. View through conversion window. Same thing. We usually don't use it, so we leave it unchanged. The key setting here is click through conversion window, and that's why we set it to the maximum. Attribution. We don't change anything here either, but I want to explain what it means. Even though most attribution models are no longer available, understanding them helps you understand how attribution works. Linear attribution means this. Someone clicks your ad on Monday, no conversion. Clicks again on Tuesday, still no conversion. Clicks again on Wednesday, and finally converts. You paid for 3 clicks. Each click may have played a role. With linear attribution, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday would each get 0.33 of a conversion. That's why sometimes you see fractional conversions. First click attribution would assign the entire conversion to Monday, with Tuesday and Wednesday showing 0. Last click attribution, which is still available, assigns the entire conversion to Wednesday, ignoring Monday and Tuesday. That's also not ideal, because you might think earlier keywords or campaigns don't work, even though they played a role. There was also position-based attribution, where the first and last clicks got more weight, and the middle clicks shared the rest. Time decay attribution gave less weight to older interactions and more weight to recent ones. After understanding this, it becomes clear how data-driven attribution works. It uses algorithms to assign more or less weight to different interactions. The data is no longer strictly mathematical. In the past, algorithms followed fixed rules. Now artificial intelligence does the work. So there are no exact formulas anymore. This is a full Google Ads course, not a 2-minute setup video. That's why I explain how things work. This understanding will be very important later when you analyze your campaigns. We leave attribution as is. Enhanced conversions. You already have the checkbox enabled here, but I don't. I click the conversion settings link and it opens the same screen I showed at the beginning of the lesson. I intentionally didn't click save earlier, so you could see why this step matters. Now I'll quickly go through it without commentary. Check the box. Agree? Click, paste the website URL. Check URL. Continue with Google Tag Manager. And now I click save. Now the checkbox is enabled for me as well. Yes, the fields above had to be filled again. It sounds like a lot when I explain it, but in reality it takes just a few seconds. When you know what you're doing, it's very easy. But for the first time, it's great when someone explains it, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'll collapse this section. Now we visually double check everything and click done. You can add another conversion action right away, but we won't do that yet. We'll do it in the next step. The interface changes slightly again, so we're going step by step to avoid confusion. We click save and continue. That's it. This conversion is now set up. Next we'll add it to Google Tag Manager, but that's the next step. Here you can see setup with a Google tag and use a Google Tag Manager. We have the conversion ID and conversion label. We'll need this later. For now, I just close this by clicking the X in the top left corner. And now look at conversions summary. It looks different with a lot of extra stuff. At the bottom you'll see the conversion we just created. Don't worry that it says inactive. That's normal at this stage. Now let's set up the next conversion action. We already created the phone number click conversion. Next we'll set up the lead form submission. More specifically, the visit to the thank you page that opens after the form is submitted. Click Create Conversion Action. Here we choose Submit Lead Form. Again, it's not critical, it's just more convenient when things are grouped. You'll see why. Click Add Conversion Actions. And now, see, it shows webnailstudio.com. Why it didn't show it right away doesn't matter. I click it. You already know the process, so we'll move fast here. Set up manually using code. Open it, scroll down. Change the name to Visit Thank You page. Collapse action optimization and conversion name. Value, don't use a value. Collapse it. Count 1. It remembered my previous settings. Collapse it. I don't change 90 days either. It remembered the 2. Enhanced conversions is already checked. Click Done. That's it. Now we just click Save and continue. I click it, and here I simply close it. Now I scroll down to show you what's happening. We have outbound click and we have submit lead form. See how these two conversions are in different blocks? Let me move one conversion into the other block just as an example, so you can see it visually. I hover over click on phone, click the 3 dots, then change to another conversion goal, then submit lead form. Not important, I just want them grouped together. In the preview I click save. And now see, everything is inside submit lead form. So yes, you can group conversions however you want. This is purely for convenience. Now let me put it back the way it was. 3 dots. Outbound click, save, done. Back to the original grouping. Now we need to send these details to Google Tag Manager. To do that, we'll set up both conversions in GM one by one. We'll start with click on phone number. Click it. Here you can double check everything and change settings if needed. At the bottom there's tag setup. Click it, scroll down, click use Google Tag Manager and scroll a little more. We'll need 2 things, conversion ID and conversion label. Now go to Google Tag Manager. Here are the triggers we created in the previous lesson. And now we need to create tags. go to Tags, click New, then click Triggering. The trigger will be phone number click. Super simple. And by the way, phone number click is just the name we gave it. If you open a GTM container built by someone else, the names might be totally different. But you'll still figure it out because you can always look at the trigger type and the filter. We know exactly how this fires. Just links and contains tel. So even if the naming is messy, you'll still understand what's what. So click phone number, click the trigger we created. Now name the tag Google Ads click on phone number. Same idea as in Google Ads, so it's easier to understand what matches what. And we include Google Ads in the name, because this GTM container may also have tags for Google Analytics, Facebook and so on. So it's just cleaner to name things logically. I'm shortening it a bit, but you can write the full name if you want. Click Tag Configuration. Choose Google Ads. Google Ads Conversion Tracking. And yes, you can always use search to find things faster. Click it. Now we need the conversion ID. We already have it. Copy it and paste it here. You'll see a warning. No Google tag found in this container, but it also gives you the solution. Click Create Tag. Don't change anything here. Everything we need is created automatically. Even the name is already there. Just click Save and the tag is ready. You'll see a nice green check mark. You do this once and you won't need to do it again. Now we also need to add the conversion label. Here it is. Copy it. And again, always pay attention to where you are. Right now you're setting up the phone number click conversion. And you can clearly see that on the screen. Copy the label and paste it in. You can click somewhere outside to make the view more compact and see everything clearly. Click Save. Done. Now let's create the second tag right away. While still in tags, click New. Name it Google Ads Visit Thank You page. Same name as in Google Ads. Choose the trigger Thank You page. See, even if the trigger name was different, you'd still recognize it because you'd see page view, page URL and the specific page. Great. Select it. Then go to Tag Configuration. Google Ads Conversion Tracking. Now, conversion ID. Watch this carefully. We're setting up Visit Thank You page, but I'm still currently inside click on phone number. I'll leave in a second, but no matter how many conversions you have in your Google Ads account, the conversion ID is always the same. I'll click Goals or Summary to go back. Scroll down, open Visit Thank You page. Tag Setup, use Google Tag Manager. And the conversion ID is exactly the same. So yes, you can copy it from there, but it's better to copy from one place consistently, so you don't mix anything up. So Visit Thank You page, copy the conversion ID and paste it here. Now copy the conversion label and paste it as well. Click Save. Now we need to add the conversion linking tag. This is super simple. Click New. Name it conversion linker. Choose the trigger All Pages. And in tag configuration, choose conversion linker. That's it. Nothing else to do. Click Save and you're done. Without this simple step, conversions wouldn't work. But now we have everything we need. Now, all the changes we just made in GTM are basically in a sandbox. They are not published live on the website yet. For everything to start working and for Google Ads to actually see the conversions, we need to publish these changes. See this? It says Workspace Changes. 11. These are changes that are not published. They exist inside GTM, but they are not live on your website. In other words, your site doesn't have these codes yet, because we haven't pushed them live. To publish, we need to click Submit. I am confident everything is correct, so I could click Submit right away. But there's a feature called Preview, where you can test everything before publishing. Let's do it. Click Preview, enter your website URL, click Connect, and it connects. Everything is connected. I'll resize the window so everything fits on one screen. We have 3 windows, the info window, the connection window, and our website opened through this sandbox session, where all the changes we made are active. So don't click Finish yet, because that will end the session. Click Continue to close the extra window. What do we see? Tags fired, Google Tag and Conversion Linker. That makes sense because the trigger was all pages, so they fire on every page view. They fired, which means we set them up correctly. Now we need to test the tags that are still not fired. Click on phone number and visit thank you page. So we click the phone number on the website. And what do we see? Click on phone number fired. It moved into text fired. Now we test visit thank you page. Fill in the required form fields and click book now. I can already see it's working. Perfect. There are no tags left in not fired. Everything we configured fired successfully. That means we can publish. Click the X in the top left corner and click stop debugging. Now click submit. Now we publish these GTM changes live. It asks you for a name. I'll type basic setup, but it's not required. You can skip it and publish without a name. Click publish. A few seconds and it's done. Naming is optional because you can still see what was changed. You can't fit everything into a title anyway. But inside the version details, you can always see exactly what was done. And by the way, if you have a lot of versions and you accidentally publish something wrong, you can always restore one of the older versions. Right now we're in the versions section. There's also an admin tab where you can manage access and other settings, but we don't need that in this lesson. Everything we did is in workspace. Go there and you'll see the overview and all the work we just did. Alright, let's keep going. Once we tested everything in GTM, published everything, and workspace changes is 0, meaning everything is live and verified. Then we can check the conversion status in Google Ads. Right now it says inactive. If you hover over it, it says we haven't verified your tag yet. Usually it takes up to 3 hours after someone visits the page with the tag. So realistically, we don't need to do anything else here. We verified everything. And over time, inactive will turn into active. But if you really want to confirm it immediately, you can. Click troubleshoot, then click continue. Important. When we test in GTM, we did it before publishing. If you try to troubleshoot in Google Ads before publishing, it won't work. Because GTM Preview runs your setup in a sandbox session, but Google Ads troubleshoot actually goes to the live website and checks the real code that's currently published. So if you troubleshoot before publishing, it won't find anything. So click continue. Enter your website URL, click connect. It connects. Now we test the thank you page conversion. I scroll down to the form, fill in the remaining required fields, click book now, and that's it. See the green check. Visit thank you page moved into text fired. Now we go back and we see no recent conversions, meaning there was no real conversion yet, but the error is gone. Unlike GTM, here you verify each conversion one by one, if you decide to do it. I intentionally didn't close the visit thank you page troubleshooting session so you can see it clearly. If we click the phone number, click on phone number, will also move into text fired. But in Google Ads, click on phone number will still show inactive because you need to run troubleshoot separately for each conversion, if you choose to do this verification. Again, this step is optional. You can do it or skip it. It just helps you confirm faster that everything works. Sometimes we set this up before the site is even published. Sometimes you don't even own the domain yet, but you already know what the pages will be. So you build the conversions in advance. In that case, obviously you can't verify anything yet. But later, once the site is published, everything will automatically start working. You can also click troubleshoot for click on phone number and do the same thing. Click the phone number and you'll see no recent conversions there as well. I'm not going to repeat it because you already know the steps. Or you can skip this verification completely. Once real leads start coming in, the status will switch to a green active. And by the way, this lesson is not over yet, so don't relax yet. We're going to set up one more conversion. A phone call directly from the ad, without visiting the website. Click Create Conversion Action. Choose Phone Call Lead. If you don't see this option, open the full list and scroll until you find it. Click Add Conversion Actions and choose Calls from Ads. Then click Save and Continue. Then click Finish. Now we have 3 conversion types. Visit thank you page, when a person actually submits their info. Calls from ads, where the call is a real confirmed call, because it goes through a forwarding number. I explained that in the lesson about setting up ads. And today I'll add a bit more about the 30-second rule. And click on phone number, which tracks clicks on the phone number, not the actual call. When we later switch to automated bidding strategies, Google will optimize its algorithms toward people who convert. For example, we have a keyword like nail salon. Some clicks from that keyword will convert, and some won't. Google's AI will learn patterns by comparing users who converted versus users who didn't. And then it will automatically lower bids for users who are less likely to convert and raise bids for users who are more likely to convert. That's why it's so important to set up conversions correctly. Google's algorithms don't optimize for every conversion you've created. They optimize only for the primary conversions. Right now, each conversion shows primary. Let's change that. A phone number click is not the same as a real lead. It can be a useless click. Click that conversion. Then click either Edit Settings at the bottom or Settings at the top. It doesn't matter. Now you can edit the conversion. Expand action optimization and switch from primary action used for bidding optimization to secondary action not used for bidding optimization. Click Save. Now these two are primary and this one is secondary. A phone number click is not always a useless conversion. I'm just explaining that it's not a guaranteed lead. And personally, I usually launch it as primary at the beginning. I switch it to secondary only if I see a lot of empty clicks. I'm just using it as an example, so you understand how this works. Now click calls from ads. Open settings. When we created this conversion, Google didn't walk us through all settings, so we should adjust it. Change value to. Don't use a value, because this $1 doesn't make sense. Click Save. Next is call length. Here you can choose how many seconds the call must last for it to count as a conversion. In the Ad Extensions lesson, I explained how forwarding numbers work, and I mentioned 30 seconds. That's just what I'm used to setting in call tracking systems. Google's default is 60 seconds. You can leave it. You can even set it to 1 second. Not a good idea, but you're free to do what you want. In my experience, in most niches 30 seconds is enough. I'm not changing it here. I'm just explaining what it does. Set click-through conversion window to the maximum available. Here it's 60 days. Save. Get used to checking the other settings too. You already know them. I'm focusing your attention on what I consider the most important. Now there's one more important point. You can apply created conversions to all campaigns in the account or only to specific campaigns. In this lesson I'm talking about the entire account. In most cases, especially at the beginning, that's exactly what you want. Look, in the Submit Lead Form category, it says Account Default Goal, 3 of 3 campaigns. But for the other conversion goals below, it says 0 of 3 campaigns. That means the conversions exist, but they're not assigned to campaigns. To change that, click Edit Goal. In the window that opens, choose Do not use Submit Lead Form as an account default goal if you don't want to use it as the default, or choose Use Submit Lead Form as an account default goal if you do. And if something doesn't work, chamomile tea is honestly amazing. Don't stress out, make some tea, drink it, take a short walk, come back, and everything works. If it still doesn't work, make another cup, and it'll be fine. And if you still have questions or something isn't clear, ask in the comments or message me on Discord. The link is in the channel description. I hope this was helpful. If it was, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next lesson. Think bigger and make money.